Ever wondered why brides carry bouquets? Our journey begins in ancient Rome, where the tradition was born. Here, bridal bouquets weren't just a decorative flourish. They were a symbol, a message, and a tool, all rolled into one. In the heart of this great civilization, brides were sent down the aisle clutching bundles of herbs. These weren't just any herbs, mind you. Each had a specific purpose and symbolic meaning. For instance, dill, a known aphrodisiac at the time, was a common addition. Its presence wasn't merely to spice up the wedding feast, but also to prepare the newlyweds for the intimate bond they were about to share. Another herb often found in these Roman bouquets was garlic. Yes, you heard that right, garlic. Not quite the romantic ingredient you might have expected, is it? But back then, it wasn't about the romance. Garlic was thought to ward off bad luck and evil spirits, offering the bride a layer of protection on her special day. The ancient Romans viewed these bouquets as powerful symbols of fidelity and fertility. Each herb was carefully chosen, not for its aesthetic appeal, but for its inherent symbolism. It's fascinating to think about how these simple bundles of herbs were, in many ways, a precursor to the lush, flower-filled bouquets we see today. But don't be fooled into thinking that the Romans were the only ones to attribute such significance to wedding bouquets. As we journey through history, we'll discover that other cultures and eras have put their own spin on this tradition, introducing new elements and meanings. So while the Romans initiated the tradition, it was far from the flower-filled spectacle we know today. Let's journey forward in time to see how the bouquet evolved. Fast forward to 16th century England, where the humble marigold started gaining popularity in wedding bouquets. The marigold, a flower known for its deep hues of gold and warm orange, began to make its mark in matrimonial ceremonies. But why the marigold, you might ask? Well, the answer lies in what it symbolizes. Marigolds are incredibly faithful to the sun, blooming in daylight and closing their petals when darkness falls. This daily ritual made them a symbol of faithfulness and endless love, qualities that are undeniably desirable in a lifelong partnership. By including marigolds in their bouquets, brides were essentially carrying a vibrant pledge of fidelity and undying love down the aisle. And that's not all. These delightful flowers were also believed to possess aphrodisiac properties. Yes, you heard that right. Much like the dill in ancient Roman times, marigolds were considered to stir passions and enhance the romantic aspect of the union. So in essence, a bridal bouquet with marigolds was not just a pretty accessory, but a potent symbol and a silent prayer for a love that remains constant and enduring. Over time, as we moved into the Victorian era, the fascination with flowers and their meanings grew even more profound. The language of flowers, or floriography, became a prevalent fad, with people sending each other carefully assembled bouquets with specific meanings. So, as we see, flowers started making their appearance in bouquets, but it was in the Victorian era when the language of flowers truly blossomed. The Victorian era introduced a fascinating fad: floriography, the language of flowers. This period saw a unique trend where people communicated through the coded language of flowers. Each bloom had a specific meaning, and bouquets became secret letters full of unspoken sentiments, whispered in the language of petals and leaves. During the 19th century, the Victorians were passionate about symbolism and romantic gestures, and floriography fit perfectly into their sensibilities. It became a societal norm to express feelings through the exchange of flowers. This practice had a profound impact on the composition of wedding bouquets, each bloom carefully selected for its symbolic value. For instance, roses, the perennial symbols of love, were a popular choice. But did you know that the color of the rose could change the message entirely? Red roses symbolized passionate love, while pink ones conveyed admiration. White roses stood for purity and innocence, making them a favorite for Victorian brides. Then there were daisies, simple yet significant, representing innocence and loyal love. The orange blossom, a popular Victorian bridal flower, symbolized purity, chastity, and fertility. Ivy, often woven into the bouquet, was a symbol of fidelity and marriage. Not all flowers had positive connotations. Yellow carnations suggested rejection or disappointment, and lavender was a symbol of suspicion. Victorian brides had to be careful not to include these in their bouquets. The Victorians even had guidebooks, floral dictionaries, to help decode the hidden messages in these botanical compositions. It was a time of unspoken emotions, of sentiments expressed not in words but in the language of flowers. And so the bridal bouquet became more than a simple accessory. It transformed into a carefully curated testament of love, fidelity, and hope for the future, each flower a word in the silent vow of marriage. While secret flower messages may have fallen out of fashion, the tradition of bridal bouquets continued to flourish. Even today, we still see the echoes of florography in the flowers brides choose to accompany them down the aisle. The Victorian era may be long past, but its influence on our wedding traditions is still evident, alive in every bloom. In the modern world, the bridal bouquet has become an integral part of the wedding ceremony. It's more than just a pretty accessory for the bride to hold as she walks down the aisle. The bridal bouquet has transformed into a personal expression, a piece of the wedding puzzle that ties together the bride's style and the overarching theme of the day. Today, the choice of flowers in the bouquet can say a lot about the bride's personality. From bold exotic orchids to soft romantic roses, every bloom tells a story. And it's not just flowers that are finding their way into bridal bouquets. We're seeing an increasing trend of incorporating elements like succulents, berries, and even feathers into bouquets, reflecting the bride's unique style and creativity. The bouquet is also a way to incorporate meaningful symbols or honor loved ones. Some brides might include a grandmother's favorite flower or use blooms in a color that was special to a dear family member. And let's not forget the tradition of the bridal bouquet toss, a fun custom that's still very much alive today. It's said that whichever single lady catches the bouquet will be the next to marry, adding a touch of playful anticipation to the wedding festivities. So, from ancient herbs to symbolic flowers, the bridal bouquet has journeyed through time, carrying with it a rich history and evolving into the beautiful tradition we know and love today. From the Romans to the Victorians to the present day, the bridal bouquet has certainly come a long way. From bundles of herbs symbolizing fidelity and fertility, to marigolds representing faithfulness and love, and the secret language of flowers in the Victorian era. Even in our modern era, the bouquet remains a vital part of the wedding ceremony. So next time you see a bride walking down the aisle, carrying her beautiful bouquet, remember, you're witnessing a tradition steeped in centuries